Hello, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Town of Salem. Our name is Catalina, and we are the Vigi. Okay, so we are going to bait here as Vigi, but we're going to bait in a way that's really obvious. Basically, we just don't want people visiting us. We're putting a soft TK claim out there, but we're not really claiming. We're not getting people to actually go on us. We don't actually want people to attack us. As the Vigi here. We don't want witches to go on us, anything like that. We don't want that stuff to happen. So we make a really obvious bait, one that's too obvious to work, and then we start preparing our will. This episode is going to be largely about why you shouldn't flip coins. Why, when you're faced with a situation in which one of two people could be guilty and you can't know which one, that you probably should just go after somebody who hasn't claimed yet. So we start preparing our will. We note that Hesed also vet baited. He basically kind of soft claimed TP there, but this is a little bit of a vet bait. And of course, Japanese guy claimed jailor, so we have to put that down. We wake up in the morning and no one has died, which is always a great sign when you're town. It means that if there's spies, they might be able to reveal that one of the neutral evils or neutral killing was attacked. Turns out that Wiglow got attacked in jail, so he's very likely to be town. He could, of course, be arsonist, werewolf, or some neutral evil role, or neutral, not neutral killing, but neutral evil role. So we have a spy claim from Smoke and Weed. They confirm that Wiglow was attacked in jail. They also show that your best friend, who is the person who says that Eld Fen is suspicious, that this person was visited by the Mafia. So unless these two people are working together, we're pretty sure Eld Fen is Mafia at this point, or some sort of evil. We also interestingly see that Whoa There Bessie claims to have visited your best friend, and no one else really does. So he looks like a really bad investigator claim at this point, because Spy has him visiting the same person that... Spy has him visiting same person that he visited, right? Spy has a Mafia visiting same person that he visited, I should say. So we put Eld Fen up. This guy doesn't even offer any sort of explanation. He's basically dead to rights. He's going to be lynched here no matter what, because it's a 2v1 against him, right? In fact, it's kind of a 3v1 because, in a sense, his own consigliere is pushing against him. But yeah, this guy is certainly dead. There's not much of a point in trying, and also if you've played with Eld Fen before, you know he doesn't really try very hard, so this is a pretty typical behavior of him. We get an inno from Alf Stewart, which is pretty interesting. I don't know why anybody but Jailor would inno this, and even Jailor innoing is a little bit questionable in the sense that this guy, there are three people basically saying that he's not Jester, right, that he is Mafia. Someone's saying that he's suspicious, another guy saying that the sheriff is right, another one saying, right, like all this stuff is going on. So we put weak next to Whoa There Bessie's claim. I think I also had them down as sheriff when they claimed investigator, but either way, we know this person is a fairly weak claim. I have 3 bullets left. I'm not going to shoot quite yet. There's still a lot of people who haven't claimed, haven't done anything, and we're pretty sure that Whoa There Bessie is just going to be jailed and executed tonight, so shooting them doesn't really prove anything. So we're going to sit here and we're going to check through chat, see if there's anything else that we missed. Hesed made a vet bait. Alf Stewart innowed, which is really suspicious. So we're going to ask for Alf's role tomorrow. But we have a pretty good list of town here. We know that Wiglow is town of some sort, or at least not Mafia. We know that Best Friend is a confirmed sheriff. We figure that the spy is confirmed at this point. Right, so we have 2 confirmed TIs and some other random confirmed town, it looks like. We wake up in the morning, Whoa There Bessie is dead, and Cotton Mather. Whoa There Bessie, as it turns out, executed by Jailor. Pretty good execute. This person really looked like Consig. So I ask Alf Stewart for their role, because of course they look pretty suspicious. They just, the blackmailer. And this guy is not going to say anything. And town is not really going to pursue a lot of productive things here. I'm just going to focus on Alf. Right? If this guy claims to me and says something, we'll move on and we'll go to somebody else. Right, there are other reasons you could inno, I suppose, right? You could just say, well, by default, I just don't want to be killed by Jester. But this guy looked real guilty. He had offered no will, no anything. Sheriff had found him suspicious. Jesters don't show up as suspicious. So we have Cotton Mather now as a lookout. I should get Whoa There out of my will at this point, but we're kind of focused on just making sure other people show up. So Smoking Weed looks pretty confirmed at this point. Your Best is, of course, confirmed. They found a mafia. Phipps claims bodyguard. Okay, we'll put him down there. In fact, we're going to see everybody that the Lookout saw visit night 1, which is going to give us a pretty good idea of who can potentially be arsonist and who isn't. So if we look at the Lookout will, and I'll eventually do that at some point, but we're going to see that Wiglow visited, Walter visited, or sorry, Wiglow didn't visit, Wiglow was jailed, but Walter visited, the other TP claim visits. So Alf Stewart here claims TK. I'm still kind of interested in getting Alf up to get an actual claim, but Horse looks really, really guilty here because he's claiming Town Protect, but he wasn't on the jailer, right? I mean, he's claiming to have been on the jailer, but he's not on the jailer, right? If we look at the Lookout's will, the Lookout does not have Horse as one of the people. So we're going to lynch Horse today. I wanted to get some rolls. So I'm saying at this point, okay, I am a TKCC to Alf, and the only way that either of us can confirm each other is if one of us visits the other, right? So I'm going to shoot Alf, right? And see if we can't get some confirmedness going on. We still need to hear claims from a number of people. We still need to hear claims from John Willard, from Hesed, from Glutamate. Actually, Willard was one of the people who claimed TP, right, and showed up in the will. I kind of wish that I'd seen that. But I tell Smoking Weed, who I'm pretty sure is confirmed at this point, that I'm Vigi. I'm going to shoot Alf tonight. Pretty simple. Right, I just don't want people to be confused about what I'm doing here. I'm going to be pretty much confirmed if Alf isn't dead the next day. Right? It'd be really weird if I just tried to 1-for-1 after 3 evils are dead here. But yeah, so we're going to attack our TKCC, a really late TKCC who innoed the blackmailer for pretty much no reason. So we update our will. Night 3, attacking Alf. Easy peasy. Now, there's confusion, right? Because we don't know if it's either Walter or Phipps who is the arsonist. One of them is likely the arsonist. They almost always visit the TPLO request. The only people who were on it were Cotton Mather. Cotton Mather visited, Smokin' visited. Let's get this guy out of here. And so we know it's one of the two. Jailor here decides to make a coin flip. He's got 2 people who haven't claimed at this point, Hesed and Glutamate. But he decides to just execute one of the random 2 people, both of which have an equal claim to being arsonist, right? An equal claim to being bodyguard. He executes one of them. Pretty bad idea. This is sort of the theme of the episode. You don't want to take coin flips. Also, unfortunately, something that happens here is that the spy decides to visit the veteran that I was shooting. Visits the TK claim that I was shooting. This isn't really necessary, right? Likewise, it isn't really necessary to execute one of these guys in jail, right? Like, if you jail them because you want to try and roadblock arsonists, that's fine. But you're by executing Walter here, we're removing people from majority. The bigger problem, though, of course, is that Spy decided to visit the veteran as well. They kind of wanted to see my shot, see that the guy got shot. That way they could confirm this guy is immune. But I was expecting to hit a Jester here. The guy was a really late TK claim. Inode, an obviously evil person. Seemed like he was trying to attract attention to himself. But yeah, turns out Jailor jailed the wrong person, lost his coin flip, and now the game is in a really precarious spot because it's 3v3, and we have the neutral evil out there somewhere. We have the mafioso turned godfather out there, and we have the arsonist out there. We know who the arsonist is at this point. It is, of course, Phipps. This is the other person who visited the jailer night 1. So we are almost certain that this person is, in fact, the arsonist. It's really unlikely that the arsonist visited me night 1 and then visited the jailer night 2. So yeah, kind of a combination of 2 bad things. One, we ended up dying, which is fine. It confirms Alf as veteran, and also, as it turns out, I was dying to arsonist regardless. But Spy also dying to Veteran, and the Jailer executing just sort of on a coin flip one of our TP claims puts us pretty far behind. But at this point, we know who Arsonist is, and so there's pretty much no reason that this Arsonist is going to live. Town really isn't going to benefit from having an Arsonist who's ignited, because the Arsonist is not going to, in time, douse the remaining Mafia and kill them. Even if they knew who the Mafia were, it's unlikely that they're going to be able to do it in time to save Town. Not that they would really do it to save Town anyways. They would do it just to avoid getting voted up themselves. It's probably the case here that we should just lynch the Arsonist. And if the Mafia refuses to vote them up, they're probably going to lose their only chance to vote up this Arsonist. If they don't vote up the Arsonist here, they're probably just going to lose. He says, good job, Town, 100% loss with that vote. Not really, as it turns out. This is just what has to be done. The Arsonist really can't help Town at this point. He's not going to kill off Mafia fast enough. There's only one Mafia left anyways, so we kind of have to take our chances. We do have a Doctor claim out there. Wiglow, of course, is a TP who wasn't seen by Lookout because he was jailed night 1. We also know that because he was attacked night 1, that he's pretty much legitimate. It's possible he's Jester, but yeah, we're just going to get the Arsonist out of the way here. And Willard with that really suspicious Inno, we're pretty sure Willard is Jester at this point. There is still, if we check our will, there is still a TS spot open, which is either Hesed or Glutamate. And either one is fairly legitimate at this point. They could claim anything, right? Like they could claim I'm the mayor suddenly, and I would believe them, right? Because if a guy says a vet bait, sometimes they do that, right? Because Hesed kind of claimed bodyguard. That's something that sort of obvious vet bait, the same sort of vet bait that we made, is the sort of one that that could be made by one of these important TSs. As it turns out, we have a medium. So it's probably Hesed at this point, because I don't know why you'd claim bodyguard as medium. You're perfectly fine being killed off as medium night 1 by Mafia. You kind of want to be checked out. You kind of want to just claim medium day 1, honestly. 15 is any. Yep, medium's right. I'm guessing at this point the medium is Glutamate. And now what happens is going to be a little bit of a dance to see, can we get the Jester to side with who, right? Who is the Jester going to side with? Mafia is able to get off their kill. Doctor guesses wrong. That's fine. Doctor basically had to either guess themselves or Glutamate. We're pretty sure that Willard is Jester, so hopefully Doctor didn't heal Jester, but this guy also made a little bit of a play, claiming Jester, basically, and saying that he'll side with Moff. He didn't really feel very Jestery. Willard kind of was a more convincing Jester. But here's the situation that we're in. There's one Jester, one Godfather, who, as it turns out, is Hesed, because Alf is confirmed Veteran at this point. Wiglow is confirmed Doctor. And yeah, Hesed and Willard basically haven't claimed. Willard is pretty clearly Jester the way he's playing. Hesed is probably just a guy who is sort of vet claiming, right? Doing a little vet bait thing just to make himself look a little bit like a TK. Kind of the same as we did. He did sort of the same thing that we did as what is the Mafia equivalent of a Vigilante, the Mafioso. And now he's Godfather, of course, but he wasn't Godfather at the time that he made that play. We're going to skip ahead a little bit here. We get Willard up, and at this point, sort of the good play to make is that Wiglow guilties, Alf innos, and of course, Hesed can't inno, right? Instead, Wiglow abstains, which is bad. We want Alf to live, because Alf is the veteran, and Alf is what can get us a win. So that is kind of a little bit on Wiglow here. Wiglow should be guiltying. We want Jester to be hung. That way Jester could potentially kill the Godfather. We get the Jester back up now. And if you're the Godfather, you can't inno this guy, right? He will just vote you up and kill you, right? So you really shouldn't be abstaining either, right? If I'm the jester and I see the Godfather abstaining at this point, I'm not like gonna side with him, right? If this guy isn't pushing me, if this guy isn't getting me my win, get him out of here, right? Because that's the guy that you really have to convince to lynch you, is the Mafia. Because the Mafia, if they're just left to their own devices, will win this game by themselves, right? They want this game to go on longer. They want the veteran to go through more alerts, right? They want to kind of narrow it down. Hesed abstains here, which is a little bit of a bad play. Alf still votes Inno, which is the correct thing. Veteran should always vote Inno here because it's Town's good chance at winning, right? But we go tonight without having lynched the Jester. So in the morning, we're going to take another crack at it, right? Let's skip ahead a little bit more. Wiglow dead. Let me back up just a second to see that will. Who did you go on? Self. That's fine. He guessed that he would be attacked. Given that Glutamate had made a Jester play that seemed kind of reasonable, right? The Godfather might have been confused whether or not Willard or Glutamate was Jester, because Glutamate hadn't claimed all game as well, so he did look a little bit jestery. Hesed now says, I insist on abstaining. At this point, if I'm if I'm the Jester, I'm just gonna kill this guy as soon as I'm up. But Alf does need to guilty now, right? On the flip side, though, it's still sort of the same 50-50 as before, right? Because Alf is alive today, Mafia doesn't want to visit Alf at night because they could potentially throw away a win that they had if he is alerting, right? Even if Jester haunts him, if the Mafia runs themselves into the veteran, it could be a Jester-only win. Mafia doesn't want that. So we got to lynch Willard at this point. And Hesed insisting on abstaining still just doesn't make any sense. Abstentions can still be killed by the Jester, right? When the Jester haunts somebody, it doesn't matter if you abstained at this point. They can get abstentions and guilties. The only people they can't get are Innos. That's the reason why Alf had to Inno the previous day, because he needs to stay alive as veteran, right? Now, this is a bit of another coin flip, right? It's not one that people have a lot of control over. If you don't do this, the Jester's probably just going to vote you up, right? Say, hey, whatever. But at this point, if I'm Jester, I'm probably killing Hesed. I don't like the fact that he didn't vote me up yesterday. I don't like the fact that he's insisting on abstaining today and all this nonsense. But Willard says that he randoms it. We'll see if that happens. And now Town is a 50-50 shot at winning the game. But again, one thing I want to emphasize, don't trust coin flips. A big part of the reason why we are in the position we are today is because the jailer decided to execute Walter when he only had a 50% chance that Walter was the arsonist. It was either Walter or Phipps. It was one of the two. He didn't know which. And he guessed wrong, and he guessed wrong. He doubled down on that guessing wrong. One, by jailing the wrong guy, but two, by executing that guy. Suddenly we lost majority in a game where we killed off 3 Mafia pretty right at the beginning. Eldfen got found out night 1. This is a night where Mafia didn't get off a kill. Consigliere also kind of got found out. I mean, maybe he wasn't Consigliere, maybe he was just unlucky, but he was probably Consig. And so he got executed, and then we lynched Horse the next day for making a ridiculous claim. He claimed Town Protect, but wasn't in the dead lookout's will, a confirmed lookout's will. He didn't show up. So we had 3 Mafia right off the bat, and then suddenly we have this day where TK claims shoot each other, but the spy visits a veteran, and Walter gets executed, and Jailer gets ignited, and Mafia manages to hit all the wrong people. But hey, at the end of the game, the coin flips turn in our favor. Flipped enough coins, won the game. But this is the lesson, right? Instead of the Jailer executing one of these guys, he really should have just been jailing Hesed or jailing Willard, making one of these guys claim, making one of these non-claimers claim. Instead of focusing all of our day and all of our efforts on figuring out who's the arsonist when we really don't have any information that can inform that, right? They both have the same will. They both have the same claim. We probably should just be going after non-claimers. It turns out a lot of them were evil, right? Willard was evil. Hesed was evil. Glutamate turned out to be medium. And Alf, after being pushed to claim for a long time, finally, at least he claimed TK. He didn't really fully claim either. But don't coin flip. Don't coin flip. Go for non-claimers. Get people who haven't said anything. And then after you've had a lot of time to figure everything out, then you can go after these coin flips. Gather as much information as you can before you actually take a risk. Because there's a lot of free kills to pick up, right? Horse being a good example of one. Claims TP, isn't in the lookout will, easy kill. All right, that's it for this episode. Don't flip coins, and I'll see you next time.